I recently saw Spectre, and I didn't think it was the best thing ever. So I'm here to break down my top 5 things I had wrong with Spectre. Quick disclaimer, I'm not the biggest Bond fan, so I've never really enjoyed anything before Daniel Craig. I mean, they're okay movies, but there's nothing special about them, in my personal opinion. So let's start this list. At number 5, it's not really Spectre's problem, but it was a little problem I had. The year it opened was the year of The Spies. A Man from U.N.C.L.E. came out, and I thought that was a really solid movie. So did Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Also, The Kingsman even came out, and I thought that movie was incredible. Even Spy and Bridge of Spies all got great reviews. I haven't seen them, but they're pretty good spy movies. And then even Agent 47 and Point Break probably get their own crowd, even though they're terrible movies. But Spectre was supposed to be the one that rose above the rest and was the best spy movie for the opposite year of spies that I've been calling it this year. And I don't know, it really wasn't. I'd say maybe third or fourth on this list. I'd give Kingsman the top. So yeah, just the year it opened. Not a huge gripe, because it's not the fault of Spectre, just the fault of all the movies around it. But anyway, moving on to number 4. At number 4, I have the misuse of Christoph Waltz, because I think Christoph Waltz is a phenomenal actor, and I thought he was used poorly in the Bond movie. Spectre, because they didn't use his acting capabilities to the maximum. As we can see, Christoph Waltz has played incredible characters in Django, and recently in Glorious Bastards he did phenomenal. So I thought we were going to get an incredible villain performance, and we just got a stereotypical Bond villain, which wasn't bad, but I mean, if you're gonna get Christoph Waltz, I thought there would be much, much better, like, of a written character. He did an okay job. Recently, Christoph Waltz did say that he might come back for another Bond movie if it made sense. So here's crossing my fingers that they bring him back and they actually write a good role for him. Moving on to number 3. Number 3, I have that the movie was very long, and Quantum Solace was the only short Bond in the Daniel Craig series. Both Skyfall and Casino Royale were about 140 minutes, give or take. And they didn't feel long. This one had pacing issues, in my opinion. The opening scene was done pretty well with the helicopter fight, but everything after that, it kind of took me out of the movie. I was a little drowsy at parts, but I'll give them credit. The explosion at the end looked pretty good, but everything besides that was just kind of dull, and it seemed like they could have made a lot of cuts to make it shorter or make it seem more faster of a pace. Anyway, moving on to number 2. At number 2, I have Daniel Craig himself, because in this movie he's playing the stereotypical Bond that was seen in other movies, and this was supposed to be his be-all, end-all, with Casino Royale and Skyfall being two great performances from him. I thought we were going to get the best performance from Daniel Craig, and he really just played a typical Bond. I mean, Daniel Craig was used so well in the first 2 movies, and Spectre was labeled as the best Bond to come out, and honestly, I consider it third. I have Skyfall at first, then Casino Royale at second, then obviously Quantum Solace at 4. But yeah, misuse of the last movie for Daniel Craig. At number 1, I have the misuse of a darker Bond. All the Bonds before were suave, gentlemen, and Daniel Craig kind of changed that. Like, even the opening scene in Casino Royale showed, oh, this guy's not the same as the rest of them. This is a different Bond series, so I'm kind of upset that they, kept with the same thing. And obviously there were more brutal Daniel Craig scenes where he got beat up and tossed around, and that was President Spectre, but not as much as, say, Casino Royale and Skyfall. So again, I thought it was a campy Bond story. I mean, tell me if you haven't heard of this. There's a big oath Bond has to fight and he has to outwit, and then there's an evil villain with a cat. Seen that before. And then Bond gets the girls, all the girls. Like, even there's one scene where he's like, hey pretty lady, let's kiss, and then they kiss, and it's really weird and awkward. It kind of took me out of the movie. But yeah, misuse of Daniel Craig for his last movie, so I feel like that was wasted talent. Again, kind of going back to Christoph Waltz. So what's to come? Who will be the next Bond for the 25th Bond anniversary? That will be in another video I will be posting fairly soon.